Okay, hello and welcome to like the cooking celebratory portion of this video. For the celebration kind of dessert, I wanted to try something new like I usually do, so I'm gonna be making a cream cheese pound cake. I actually just came back from Walmart because I had to get one of the like pound cake containers and a cake like container, so I did some shopping. So what I'm gonna do for this first portion of the video is just put all the ingredients together and kind of tell you what to do with them, and then the cake. So the first part of the recipe is to have 1.5 cups of butter. These 2 sticks of salted butter equal 1 cup, and then I have an extra actual like tub of butter that will be the half part. There's 1, and then the last half of butter. Bleh. And then of course, to make this a cream cheese pound cake recipe, I have 1/8 ounce package of cream cheese. Whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh. And then the next portion for this first part of the recipe is 3 cups of white sugar. 1, 2, 3. So now that those 3 ingredients are in the bowl, I'm going to mix them up with a little blender thing I have right here for a little bit. So after beating the egg, sugar, and cream cheese for a few minutes, this is kind of what it looks like. It basically looks like mashed potatoes, but you basically get it to where it's like fluffy, which is basically where it's just all mixed together. Now the next part's a little interesting because it contains a lot of eggs. Specifically, this recipe calls for 6 eggs, and you do them 2 at a time and kind of mix it and then do 2 more, so it's like 2 eggs 3 different times. 1, 2. It's very yellow. So like with the white sugar, the next part of this recipe is to add in 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and since I have like my eggs and all that stuff mixed up, I can add it in all at once. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So now that I mixed in the flour, I also have to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So this is basically what the whole mixture, which it's quite a lot, what it looks like when it's done. It basically just looks like a mixed cake batter. So you basically just gotta mix it until you feel like all the lumps and stuff are gone. Now you can take your cake pan, depending on whether or not it's like stick or non-stick, and spray it just in case if you want to with like the non-stick vegetable spray, so the cake doesn't like stick to the pan when it's done cooking. So now that everything's mixed together and the pan is ready, I'm gonna pour the batter into the pan. So pretty much right now, I'm just spreading out the cake mix, because this is gonna be in the oven for a while, so I'm just trying to make sure that when it's done, it comes out pretty even on the bottom. So for actually baking the cake, you're gonna put this in at 325 for 1 hour and 20 minutes. The recipe online says when it gets to 1 hour, you check to see how it's doing, and then I guess you do the extra 20 minutes. This is my first time trying the recipe, so we'll see how it goes. I will see you in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, hello, once again, it has been at least 1 hour and 20 minutes, if not a little bit more. I went ahead and let this thing cool for a little bit. Now personally, I'm a little worried because I got this thing out of the oven and like the top is already starting to get a little bit more brown than it should, but the inside's a little raw. I was looking at the reviews for this recipe specifically because it's like cream cheese and I love cream cheese, and some people were saying it turned out totally fine, but then there were also a good amount of people who were saying theirs turned out kind of raw, so that might be the case. You know, sometimes you just make a cake and it be raw. But you know, I've learned not to blame myself. I literally followed the recipe exactly, so whatever. I mean, the only thing that I lose in this situation is the money that I use to pay for the ingredients, but epic. I mean, I know pound cakes have kind of like a more density than regular cakes because it's a pound cake and it's super thick, but this seems like a bit excessive. So even if this thing is raw, I'm just gonna set it on this cake carrier thing that I got because I needed one of these, and we'll just go from there. So you can't necessarily tell me that this doesn't look correct. Like, it's got the hole and everything, and I'm also gonna do something else. Since it's still fairly warm, I'm gonna put some like powdered sugar over it just for like some more sugary goodness. But overall, it looks presentable. Like, this is, I think, what it's supposed to look like. but once again, taste is different than sight, so we'll see how this is during the rest of this video. Hello. Just a warning, the strap on this party hat kind of hurts my ear, so I may take it off early. Anyways, hello. It do be celebration day, hoya. Also, I've started to already eat the cake a little bit. I've shared it with some people and they've enjoyed it. My only critique is the fact that some of it kind of seems raw in the way that it doesn't seem fully cooked. But then again, a majority of the texture is like pretty cooked, so I think I did okay. But I will now light the cake and then eat the cake once again. There we go. Huzzah. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. 1, 2, 3. I really hope I organize. Yeah, there, it's the 4.5. We're good. Now to actually cut it again, which is kind of weird because it's like a circle cake. So every time I've cut it, the pieces are a little slanted, but whatever. So for my first time of doing a pound cake, I feel pretty successful. And once again, you can kind of see it, but like kind of towards the edge, it's not as cooked all the way, but that's because it's closer, I guess, to the middle of the pan or something. But a majority of it actually has the pound cake texture, so I think if I made this again, I'd just cook it a little bit longer, but yay. Like if I had cooked it more, the whole thing would be darker than it needs to be, so I did what I could. So first question comes from T Stevenson, hello to you, and they ask, what is your favorite place that you're going to this summer? So primarily what I'm doing for the summer is school up in the mountains where my school's at, and I'm chilling at my apartment, and I'm doing school, and I'm doing work, and I'm doing videos, and I'm doing general stuff, but I do have a few, kind of summer plans, I guess. I've gone to a few farmers market stuff. I actually went to like a summer festival today, which was pretty epic, but in terms of actual like vacation stuff, I am going to a beach in like August before the end of the summer, so that's like one of the big plans. But for me personally, the summertime isn't my favorite because it's super hot, but since I'm up in the mountains, I'm able to go hiking and stuff, so just being able to go outdoors has been fun. Thank you for a question. Now we got quite a few questions from Mr. 2007, hello. Do I watch Pokemon? I've watched a few episodes. My brother's watched it in the past, and I've caught a few episodes while watching it with him occasionally. In terms of actually watching Pokemon, I've watched people play the Pokemon games. I haven't really watched the entire animated series and stuff, so I've seen people play Pokemon, but I haven't really actually watched a majority of like the animated TV show stuff. We don't talk about Bruno. I'm gonna confess, I haven't really seen any of the newer animated Disney movies. I think the most recent one that I've seen is most likely Luca. I think that's it. That's what I'm caught up with. However, I've seen enough stuff about Bruno to kind of like enjoy his character, even though I haven't watched the actual movie that he's from. So anyways, I do like the song though. I've heard some of the songs from the movie and they sound good. West Side Story or Grease? I've personally only seen Grease, so I have a bit of a bias. I'll have to check out West Side Story at some point, but I have not seen it, so my answer would be Grease. Do I watch Glee? I'll say I've listened to Glee because my parents have CDs from different seasons of the show, so I've heard like Glee covers of famous songs, and I've seen like a few scenes from a few different episodes, but like in terms of watching Glee, no. What's your favorite evolution? Honestly, I like the original Eevee. I think the design is super cute. In terms of the actual evolutions, I like Umbreon. I like the black and yellow, but I also like Flareon. I kind of like the orange and the tan, but I also do like Jolteon. My favorite would probably be Jolteon. I like the design. If you made a horror movie in the 80s, what will it be about? I'm not someone who's particularly well versed in creating a movie or specifically an 80s horror movie. I'd probably make it a movie where the characters are more sensible and don't die in stupid ways, because in a majority of 80s horror movies, a lot of the characters just die super easy for like the horror aspect. So maybe something that's more sensible, but I don't know like an actual plot. I think one of my favorite horror films would be Cujo. I like the whole kind of rabid animal aspect because that's an actual fear and kind of a scary thing to run into, like a rabid dog. That could end up bad. So something maybe along those lines, but I don't have a legit plot. I'm not a movie producer, so I don't fully know. Why aren't I looking at your reaction request comments? If I haven't responded to a comment or something, that's probably because I'm trying to catch up on other ones, and that's not like any bias or anything, I'm just trying to get caught up. And I'll probably go through this more as I go through questions and just general discussion, but it's been a little bit more difficult as things continue, just to try and get through everything, but I'm trying. Nonetheless, I'm trying. Would you like to be a voice actor for my future videos, yes or no? That's definitely like, it depends, I guess. Not necessarily so much on the video or the voice lines itself, it would more so depend on how available I am, because not only am I trying to do like YouTube stuff, but I also have work, but then I also have like, I don't know, school and like trying to stay in touch with people, so it honestly would just depend on my availability, so I can't really say yes and then not do it because I wouldn't want to commit to something I can't do. So that's just like a maybe. My name Jeff, and I'm from the future. My name also Jeff. Hi, fellow Jeff. I hope that the future has better gas prices and that everyone's doing okay. You don't have to tell me whether or not that's the case. Thank you for your questions. This next section comes from James R. Hello to you. Firstly, do you ever worry about burnout? Your channel is great and you're incredibly attentive to your viewers, but that does mean you ended up committing your entire 2022 schedule quite a while ago. Do you ever look at all the requests you have to make and feel a bit overwhelmed? It would be cool to hear about how you manage to stay on top of everything so effectively. Well, so to kind of answer the question overall, yes, it is a bit overwhelming, but it's overwhelming in both a bad and good way. But going back to the first question about burnout, I do kind of experience burnout in different ways, but having the schedule that I have set in place kind of eliminates that because I already know what I get to like look forward to. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I have so much to get to, but it's kind of nice to know what I'm going to do and it's already set in place so I don't have to worry about that. But yes, seeing that I have my entire 2022 filled up with question requests and reaction requests does get a bit overwhelming. However, the positive side to that is the fact that I don't have to worry about telling people when and what I'm going to be reacting to on a certain day, because unless there's like a complication and something comes up, you can see what I'm going to be doing a certain day. So if you don't see that your request is there, then you just kind of have to assume that it comes later. Which is what I kind of explain to people, like especially people who make newer requests. If your request isn't on the schedule for 2022, it's not happening until 2023. Hopefully not longer than that. I don't know. At this point, I just have 2022 set currently. So essentially the schedule is both a blessing and a curse, because for people who make new requests, for them sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, I have to wait until like next year for my thing, and I'm like, bruh, I don't know what else to tell you. Because my whole thing is, I don't want to run into issues with people arguing whether or not I should react to their request first because they think it's more important or it has more value. My schedule is set in stone, and I don't care what the video is, I'm going to react to the thing that was requested earlier because that's just how I want to do it. So although the schedule is a bit overwhelming, to me, there's a lot more benefits to having it than negatives because it's set in stone and it's not me saying, oh, I'm doing this video before this one because I enjoy it more. It's just when that request was made. So it's like, it is a bit overwhelming, but the benefits are much nicer than the negatives. At least that's how I see it. So in terms of me doing things effectively, I feel like people could still argue that I could do it a better way, but what I have set right now, I feel like results in the most basic way of like whatever content or whatever questions I'm getting to is what I get to just because it's a schedule, not that there's bias or anything. It's just, if there's another way that seems better, please feel free to suggest, but like currently, that's what seems to be the best way to go about it. Secondly, I've noticed that when you upload a reaction, you get a lot of people from specific fan bases finding it and wanting more. Do you ever worry about uploading too much stuff relating to a certain franchise or fan base in case it starts overwhelming the video requests? Now, unfortunately, literally going back to my previous answer, this is one of the negatives that comes with the schedule and how I do things. And I'm pretty sure we both kind of acknowledge what fan base this is discussing. But overall, sometimes I do absolutely feel bad that a majority or like at least a good amount of my requests or questions are catered to a certain fan base. And while I have no issue with a certain fan base or whatever I'm discussing, I do tend to feel bad for people who aren't getting other types of content. It's just one certain thing. And of course, once again, that's nothing against a certain fan base or anything. I do just tend to feel bad when a lot of my requests, especially in the line of how I take in requests or whatever, do tend to focus on one sort of thing over another. And the reason why I feel like this happens in general is the fact that a lot of the requests that I get comes from a certain type of video, and all the requests will be similar to that specific topic. So if a video is super old and it's about, I don't know, like candy or something, and there's a bunch of other questions about candy, it's like that's what the next requests and next videos will be about. So I definitely feel like this is one of the negative side effects of how I do things. So once again, if anyone does have any suggestions as to how I could make my content schedule better in a way that's still fair and like unbiased, because I feel like I found the best way of doing it, but then again, that's just me like thinking what is the best way to make sure no one argues and there's no bias and whatnot, that still works and like makes sense overall, feel free to share, because I want to make sure that my channel is like as efficient as it can be with the requests. Thank you very much for the questions. I feel like having questions like this kind of explains what I would eventually explain at the end of a video, so thank you for getting it out of the way. This next set of questions is from VideoTube, so hello. Do you watch NC-17 movies? I don't necessarily go see a movie because of the rating. I mean, sometimes I'll keep that in mind, but if I saw an NC-17 movie and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be edgy and go to it simply because of the rating, I just don't really care. I think I've seen maybe one or two, but that's just like what they included or whatever. It's just happenstance. So maybe I've seen a few, but I mean, that's not the main reason I go see them. My name is Jeff. Why we got so many Jeffs today? Hello, fellow Jeff. Sylveon or Glaceon? I think both of them, to me, they're probably my least favorite evolutions because they kind of look more like fairies or something. They look more like fairy type. But if I had to have an actual answer, I'd probably say Sylveon because of the colors. Like, it looks fun. Draw Mr. 2007 punching Chicken Nugget, the yellow evil puppy. Why would I be condoning violence against an animal? I don't know. If I draw this, it will be on DeviantArt, but maybe that will be later. But thank you for the drawing request. Subscribe Dre Higby. Bro, why are you telling me what to do? But also it's funny because I can't really even think of how many channels I'm actually subscribed to. Like I've mentioned it before, there are like a few select channels on YouTube that I'll actually watch and I'm like, I know I'm subscribed to. But I'll have to double check on like who I'm actually subscribed to because I can't remember. Do you watch Pokemon movies? I've definitely seen Detective Pikachu. Other than that, I don't know. So overall, I'll say not frequently, so no. Why did you not look at my reaction request comments? I guess I'll explain how I respond to comments in general. So this is a little bit different than how I used to do it, but nowadays, I'll basically just respond to the comments that are like from a day ago or whatever, and if I get through those, I'll keep going back as far as possible. Additionally, I'll try and at least give myself maybe an hour to 2 hours each day to just exclusively respond to comments, but then again, I also have other stuff besides YouTube, so I can't strictly just respond to comments all day because then I'd probably go blind or something. So I'm still trying to catch up with comments as I've mentioned before, so maybe I've missed them, but feel free to mention more stuff that you want me to look at if you want to. I can't guarantee that I'll get to it super quick. Do I hate Chicken Nugget, the TikTok cartoon? I think I've seen that username pop up occasionally. It's not like it's all over my For You page, so maybe that's just your For You page. But in terms of a general answer, no. I appreciate cartoons and art, so like I appreciate the effort that's probably behind that account, but I don't hate them or anything. Say hi in British. Oh gosh, okay. I played Zazu in a Lion King musical once, so I had to do like a British accent, but it's been a bit. I don't frequently talk like in a British accent, so like, hello. I don't know. I'm sorry, British people. Where do I live? I really can't give like my address because that's weird, but I live in North Carolina. I live in the mountains, and I'm in the United States. Huzzah. Draw Mr. 2007 and Ed's World as a team. Once again, if there's a drawing, I'll do it on DeviantArt. Huzzah. Favorite Ed's World character? That's good. I think personally, I either like Tord or Tom. I don't really have a favorite. Generally, whenever someone asks me like a favorite type of question, I don't really have a top favorite, but I like Tom and Tord equally, I think. Thank you for the questions. These next set of questions come from Bense Erdes, so hello to you. How are you? I'm doing good overall. I'm still like in school and there's some uncertainties and just stuff with all that, but I'm getting through it and such. But overall, I'm doing good, staying busy, trying to like do all the things that I can all at once, trying to anyways. But overall, I'm good. I'm as good as I can be. Do you believe in soulmates? I definitely think that applies to certain people. There are quite a few people that I know, like my best friend's parents literally met when they were super young and then they got married. So I think it works for some people. I think in today's age, it's much more reasonable to assume that there are actual soulmates for people because we have technology and we can literally message and meet and discuss things with people from all over the world. Like, I'm not the type of person to automatically believe that when you meet someone in college or literally just somewhere like that's in your local area, that they're automatically your soulmate. Maybe that's the case, but it's like there are like now, what, 8 billion people on the planet? The likelihood of that, probably not as accurate. So now that we have like phones and we can talk to people literally all around the globe, I think that's more accurate. So yes, in general, I think yes. If you could time travel, where would you go? In today's age, currently, as far as we know, we're the most advanced. So it's very nice to have the technology, the science, and all those things. Those benefits are super nice. I do like the 80s, but I also don't like racism and all the bad things also associated with the 80s. But I do like the theme of the 80s. So if I could go to the 80s and there weren't bad things, then that's probably where I would go. I know that's like an obscure way to answer that question, but like I like that time period, but I don't like all the things associated with that time period. There we go. I feel like that's the negative side of that question because if I could go back to when the dinosaurs were, that'd be epic. But like, dinosaurs would also probably kill me, so like, that's not fun. Would you ever want to do YouTube full time? I think in terms of efficiency, that would definitely be great. I mean, currently I'm in school to get like a major and like a certificate to go teach and everything. So my goal currently is to like get the license to teach and teach in a school and everything. But I mean, if it did work out that way, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it because that would allow me more time to focus on how I do everything on my channel. So I'm not opposed to it. Do I see it necessarily happening, at least right now? Not for the most part, but I still really enjoy what I'm doing thus far. You mentioned earlier that your faith plays an essential role in your life. Would you have had the same faith if you had a completely different upbringing? So do I think that I would have the same faith if I had a completely different upbringing? I think that definitely could be the case. There are some people who completely switch their faith or whatever from their original upbringing simply because they experience something new or they're open to something or someone tells them about it or whatever and they switch. So I think that could be the possible case from another universe of me or whatever. But currently the faith that I like align the most with and that like I continually try to do research on and stuff is the one that I think I've gotten the most like conclusive, like I don't know, it just makes the most sense to me. So I would assume that yes. The simple answer, I guess, yes. Thank you for the questions. These next set of questions are from Christ is Watching, so hello and thank you for being observant for some reason. Favorite ABC? Z for zebra. Say I hate Dre Higby. One, that's not me like confessing or like agreeing with that, so I mean that's just like a trap card you pulled, so I said it, but I don't get why there's some sort of intent with it, so feel free to clarify if you want to. What the hey is Daddy 05? I will leave that for a future thing, thank you. What game console do you have? I currently, in my apartment, have a PlayStation 2, and I also have a Nintendo DS for when I like want to play Nintendogs and stuff and get wacky. So I have those two currently in my apartment that I play. Do you watch Animal Crossing the movie? Saying that I do watch it would be like continually watching it, so no in that aspect, but I've seen a good majority of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but I've seen quite a bit of it. Are you a furry? I have an appreciation for like anthropomorphic characters, but am I a furry? I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. I mean, I also have an appreciation for people who make fursuits because one, that takes a lot of money and time and design work and stuff, but I also have an appreciation because people basically go in mascot outfits and that's like super hot and I can't do that, but I've also tried it in the past, so I have like an appreciation for that. But overall, I'm not a furry. I don't think. 4 or 7. I can do 4 fingers on one hand, so that's more accessible, so I guess 4. Where is 2.5 brain cells? If you're not familiar, that was like a brief thing I did a long time ago where it was like multiple me's, multiple universes, what have you. I currently in the works do not have that set up for like a new thing. I still have like the thumbnail for it, and I've continually thought about it, like it's been in the back of my mind. I haven't completely forgotten about it, but currently I do not have any plans to bring it back, at least for right now. Is 2.5 brain cells getting an animated reboot by Mr. 2007 or Dre Higby? I don't know, you tell me. I've not assigned anyone like to draw or like animate anything of mine, so if someone wants to, they totally can, but that's not something I've told anyone to do. Mr. 2007 or Dre Higby? I don't necessarily have an answer to that question because, don't take this in a bad way, I don't care. I don't really have a bias towards either of these creators because, once again, I only have a select few of like content creators on YouTube that I'll like take a little bit of time out of my day to like watch their videos and stay up to date on. That's not saying that I don't watch other content creators. I just don't really have a bias or anything against like these 2 creators specifically. I do want to say that's not to say that I don't check up on these channels specifically. I just don't have an answer because I'm not trying to put anyone against each other or say that I have a favorite channel because I don't. Draw my profile. That'll be on DeviantArt maybe. I don't know. These next questions are from Submerge884, so hello. Would you ever be interested in reacting to any content I make? Sure. For the most part, unless it's a piece of content that literally YouTube doesn't allow because I want to respect that rule, I don't really have a bias towards any type of content. I will say though, if that presents the idea to literally anyone that I'm going to specifically prioritize channel like connected content or people that I actually talk to and react to that content before any others, that's not the case because I don't want that to seem like it's the case. And of course that's not to say that I don't want to watch the content of people that I've actually like talked to and discussed stuff with, but I don't want people to assume that I put like people that I know content above other content that's requested because that would just be more bias and I don't want to do that. When did you first find out about Thomas the Tank Engine? When referencing fan-related content, that was just through like previous requests and like current requests. So I keep finding out about more videos for like the Thomas the Tank Engine community. But in general, like the first time I ever saw like Thomas and those characters was probably when I was really young and like would be in like, I don't know, baby school or whatever, and people would like play it on the TV, or I've seen, you know, like model locomotives and stuff. So just general observation. What inspired you to do what you do on the channel? I think I've mentioned it in the past, but I had this idea that was very basic and has eventually turned into what I do. But my first thought was like, oh, whatever questions I have, I'm just gonna make a binder and fill it up with answers to my questions and just like have it for me to look back on when I have those questions again. So I guess in general it was just genuine curiosity. So like I first started this channel by doing questions, and then people were like, oh, can you do this other type of content? So my channel essentially first started off with me just talking about stuff I was curious about, but it's turned into other things that other people are curious about and want to see from me. So there we go. What happened to your Discord server if you ever had one? I did have one. I think someone suggested it a long time ago and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I really like that. And I still kind of do. But I had the server running for a little bit, but then essentially what I did, because I kind of got overwhelmed, and I'll probably discuss this later too, I got overwhelmed with the idea of feeling like I had to be on there continually in order to make sure that everything was okay and it wasn't exploding and no like horrible things were happening. But also I got overwhelmed with the idea of feeling like I had to continually be on there to talk with people. And I know some people are like, that's not the case, you don't have to do that. But that's just something I put on my mind, and like it stressed me out way too much. So in the past, I did have a Discord server. I don't have one now. It's not really in the works. Maybe in the future, just not right now. I want to improve other things first before I commit to another thing like that. But that's kind of what happened, like low-key, very brief version of that history, I guess. Have you ever seen an object show? Yes, not full on like a bunch of different episodes, but I've seen various object show related projects. I actually have someone that's super close to me that I'm related to who does voice acting for various object shows, and they'll occasionally send me clips of what they voice acted in. It's so fun because a lot of it is actually super high quality, so I do think that whole community is super cool. Thank you for the questions. These next questions are from No. I don't know how you were able to get that username, but very nice. Hi, my name is No. Hello, my name is Jeff. What the hey is nothing. I don't know if that's a legit question that I could necessarily cover, but maybe I'll screenshot it, I guess. Do I hate Dre Higby? No, I don't know what's going on with Dre Higby. I hope they're okay. But anyways, I don't. Draw Jesus. Are you talking about accurate Jesus, or are we talking about European Catholic Church Jesus with light brown, slightly ramen curly hair and blue eyes? What are we talking about? Maybe that'll be on TV and art. I don't know. Draw Mr. 2007 versus Dre Higby. I don't know what's going on with Dre Higby. I hope you're doing okay, bro. I hope both Mr. 2007 and Dre Higby are doing okay. I don't know what the whole beef is. If there is any beef, I don't know. But I might draw that. I don't know. What's up? I'm doing good. I'm recording and doing video stuff. I'm doing work. I'm actually gonna go out doing delivery stuff soon. And I have pet sitting coming up, which is pretty epic. I'm just enjoying the summer. I might go swimming later. I don't know. What do you want to do with your dog at the park? If I had my own personal dog, I would want the dog to enjoy itself and maybe play with some other dogs or go swimming or something. So I guess that's the answer. I mean, in general, I don't have my own personal dog, so I'm assuming you're referring to my family dog, Toby. If you're not sure who that is, this is Toby. He's a Shih Tzu part terrier. He's almost 14, so he's grandpa age. He's super cute, and I keep these pictures near my bed because I do miss him. What is my favorite Pokemon? Going back to Toby, my favorite Pokemon is Herdier because it's a dog, so I like that one. I think I've mentioned it before, but I tend to enjoy the look of more realistic, actual animal type Pokemon because it's my mind registers, oh, that's something that could be legit. When I see I don't know, ice cream looking Pokemon, I'm like, what is that? Do you miss Mr. 2007's old channel, and can you re-upload his videos? So I've mentioned them before, so maybe you're familiar, but I've reacted to Mr. 2007 videos and answered questions from them. So it's someone who's kind of, I guess, connected to my channel, or at least they've been referenced on my channel. But previously, their channel got taken down. Do I know the reasons behind it? And if they were legit, then that makes sense. But I don't know that whole situation. But I don't necessarily miss the old channel because there's a new one. In terms of re-uploading his videos, I don't have any of those videos downloaded, so I can't do that. Also, I'm not gonna re-upload someone else's content onto my own channel for the sole purpose of re-uploading them, since it's not my content, so I can't really do that. These next few questions are from Wilbert Productions, so hello. Do you remember who I am? Yes, because I did a video on your channel, I believe, so hello once again. Is Thomas the first train show that you've heard of? Specifically relating to a locomotive train related show, yes, I think that is the case. I've seen other shows and movies that kind of include trains and locomotives, but I think Thomas is the first one that's definitely centered around tank engines, so I think the answer to that question is yes. Your favorite song? I think my favorite types of songs are Christmas songs in terms of genre. Once again, I think I've mentioned this in the past and just earlier, I don't necessarily have a favorite of anything. It's just generalized, my mind is oh, I like that thing. It's not this is my top favorite thing. But I love Christmas music. I love lo-fi. I really like lo-fi. I like coffee kind of jazz stuff. So a few different genres. I guess I'll pull up a song I've been listening to recently though, if that kind of helps. I've been listening to Vow of Silence from Lemon Demon quite a few times this week, so I think that's the song that I just enjoy right now at least. Why did you start this channel? As I previously mentioned, out of general curiosity, I like to answer questions, and I'm also going to be a teacher, so kind of learning how to present information is something that I've been wanting to practice, and this is kind of a basic way of doing so. And although this isn't really the main reason, I definitely did watch at least a lot of gaming related YouTubers when I was younger, so I was like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to do somewhat of a similar thing. Will you do an Aoni gameplay? I can't remember if that's how you phrase it. I think that would be fun though. I think, who is it? Has Jacksepticeye maybe, PewDiePie definitely, and maybe Markiplier. I think I've seen all of them play it occasionally. I think it'd be fun to do it myself because it's been so long since I've watched anyone play it, so I'd be kind of fresh in a way to playing the game. So maybe, I think that would be fun. I've actually taken quite a few requests of games that I could play, and I know right now I'm doing a lot of Minecraft stuff, so maybe I'll do kind of like one-off videos of different games to try them out, and then maybe do them longer if it works out. But I think that would be a fun one to do. Thank you for the questions. This next set of questions is from Nostalgic Dimensions 2005, so hello. Would you like to get to know me better and also make a Who the Hey on my channel? You also mentioned later how there's not really any content on it yet, but most likely by the time I actually get to your request, there may be a few videos on it, so I think that would be fine. I don't really have any limit to the topics that I really discuss on my channel, especially when it comes to like content creator related question videos, so I would love to talk about your channel. It'll most likely just be a while until I get there. Those are the questions. Thank you for them. Okay, last section. I know this is already super long. If you've just gotten to this section of the video, hello. Thank you for coming by. I hope you're doing okay. So this is just kind of the discussion and general observation part of the video, but I don't really feel like there's too much to discuss because some of the questions brought up what I probably would have discussed. So good collaboration, everybody. One of the things though I would like to mention, this kind of goes back to the Discord thing. I have another way to possibly reach out to me if you would like to. I decided, since I have the app and I occasionally use it with people, that I would make like a YouTube Snapchat account, yay. And the main reason why this is because sometimes it's just easier for people to message on certain apps, so I made an account, yay. So the basic way to do it, I put my username in the description of my videos. It'll be like Snapchat and then what the hey 00. I don't even know if it'll show, but it's gonna look like this. If you decide to add me and you think my Bitmoji is inaccurate, please let me know because I can't tell if it's accurate, I don't know. But the Snapchat feature is open if you would like to. I was like, it may just be easier for some people to message me there because I have email, I have my comments, of course, I have my Instagram, I have Twitter again, just Discord as well, but for a personal account. So like there's various ways to reach out to me if you want. However, despite the fact that the option is there with the other options like Discord, Twitter, all that, please try to understand that if you do message me, I will try to get back to you. It just may be a bit until I do. I'm gonna take this off real quick. It's hurting my ears. So although there is another option to contact me, and I do have my phone on me pretty much 24/7 except when I'm sleeping, which is maybe from like, I don't know, 11 o'clock until like 8 o'clock, so that's when you can't contact me because I'll be asleep. But anyways, if you try and contact me and it's been a bit, like more than a few hours or a few days or like a few weeks, I'm just trying to get to as many people as I can. And that's also not to say that I'm getting messages 24/7 because I'm not, and thankfully that's not the case because I would explode. But if I'm not responding to you like every single minute or whatever, just I'm probably responding to someone else, but that's also not to say that I don't care that you're messaging me. And I'm absolutely sure that the people that I've already connected with on other social medias can agree I'm quite the slacker when it comes to responding to people. So that's literally not to say that I don't want to respond to people. I just have, quite frankly, other stuff to get to. And at the end of the day, I do need some time to like chill out. So maybe when I'm not responding, I'm just like not on my phone because I need to not be. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this understand the fact that there's other stuff I gotta do, which like, thank you, but I also understand that there are some people who are on the phone or they're connected to people like around the clock, and when they message someone and don't get something back, that's like really big anxiety inducing situation for them. So if it's any help, if I'm not responding super fast or I'm not getting back to you for quite a while, it's not that I dislike you, I'm just, I don't know, I got other things, which is not to say that I dislike you, I just got other things. So I think that's literally the only thing I wanted to discuss because that option's open now. And I have all of my social medias and contact stuff in my descriptions most of the time. So if you're interested to see in like an option that you could possibly reach to me out from, there you go, it's there. So overall, I know this video was super long and I kind of apologize for it, but also I don't because it was fun. So thank you all very much for those of you who asked questions and participated in that way, or to those of you who are just watching and that's your form of participation, which I give 100% on, yay! So yeah, overall, the channel's relatively staying the same. I do have video game ideas, like, for playing and stuff that are coming up that I think may just be, like, one video thingies of, may turn into more. So overall, content is relatively the same. Also, as always, if there's some idea that comes to your brain about how I can improve my channel in terms of enjoyment or efficiency, feel free to let me know. The last thing I want for this channel is for it to just be stuck doing the same thing, which, like, I have a schedule, but besides that, it's like, it's all the same thing, there's nothing new, it's not more enjoyable, it's just stuck. Feel free to let me know, because I want the channel to be fun for whoever, whomever, whatever. Additionally with that, if there's some type of content that you feel like I'm missing out on, like I do book reviews, I do gaming stuff, I do cooking and baking stuff, I do what the hey question and reaction videos. I feel like a good variety of stuff, but if you feel like there's something missing, let me know, because I probably didn't think of it and that it would be a great addition, so let me know about that as well. Because despite the fact that I don't have, like, a legit team of people behind this channel, like it's just me running it, I don't want people to feel like they can't, like, involve themselves with how this channel is run. So feel free at any point, if there's something that's concerning or something you're like, this could maybe do something with the channel, feel free to share, because I think that would help in any way possible. So thank you for that ahead of time if you want. But overall, as always, thank you very much for participating in videos like this, because I feel like they're fun, kind of like individual breaking points for me to break down stuff and just kind of have a chill discussion, answer questions, and make food that I can eat. But genuinely, thank you for continually pushing me to do what I do and asking me questions and suggesting stuff to react to and all this different stuff, because I do enjoy it. Even though sometimes, as one of the questions addressed, sometimes it's a little overwhelming because it's like I have all this stuff, but on the other hand, it's like I have all this stuff. But thank you very much for watching. As I usually say, I very much appreciate your time.